Hello, everyone. Years ago, I was working in Seattle. I was working on a project with Dale Chihuly, and I had a prominent male art dealer say something to me to the effect of color is a shallow way at looking at art. Now, I know that he was just picking a fight, and I didn't play. I walked away because I love color and I have a relationship with color for as long as I can remember. I was in college one time and I had a professor ask the class, has anybody seen a color, has anybody gone to a museum and seen a work of art that they needed a janitor to clean up after? And I loved that question. It made me laugh. It was great. And if I could send a message back to my younger self, it would be something like this. Like, that laughter is a huge part of your journey. You will be mixing colors with scientists, and it's way cooler than it sounds. Um, but pretty much giving her a little bit of that spoiler alert, like you are going to be helping legendary artists. Like the time when you helped Judy Chicago at SFMOMA, you are going to be creating custom color recipes that are going to be seen by millions in museums and beyond. And as we're here, as my summer fades into fall, I see myself in this different color landscape, observing these subtle shifts in our environment for sure. So today, let's dive into one of my favorite topics. Let's dive into color. Let's dive into that frequency of color because we're going to talk about its legacy, we're going to talk about its emotional power, and we're going to talk about how it shapes our experiences of art and the world. Color isn't just what we see. No, it's a frequency of visible light. Think of it as an invitation to move from a mere observation to something deeper, more resonant, like a feeling. For example, did you know that yellow resonates on that frequency of 508 hertz? It's perfect for brightening up those Mondays, or if you're working with your solar plexus, if you're working with that goddess energy. But today, let's do a quick game. So, when I say Art Deco, what are two colors that come to mind for you? For me, it's black and gold. But how about for you? Like, think about it. So let's go back in time and look at a few other things in artists with color. So let's look at the Impressionists. We're not, we're going to talk about Mary Cassatt and Eva Gonzalez, less about the Monets, but we're talking about the Impressionist period here as ways that they are using colors because they are using color to show a passage of time. Let's take a look at neon artists. They're using gases to help light up and give form to their sculptures. Let's look at Judy Chicago again in her smoke sculptures. Now, you've heard it over and over from me that it was like a rebirthing for me, but this particular one was all in white. Now she's got other color palettes using these voluptuous clouds of pinks and yellows and oranges to create a more deeper emotive experience that really envelops the viewer. So color has its own language. It carries, the colors carry different weights. So for example, some are going to push forward while some are going to retreat. And when you start mixing those together, you get some amazing things. If we look at other fun facts about colors, fuchsia was patented in 1859 by a French chemist. I love fuchsia. Look at Ming purple. It is a shade from the Ming Dynasty that cannot be reproduced. They have tried and tried and tried. It's like the unicorn of colors for sure. And then what about in Japan? Japan, they've got their island where they are the only ones who can make this very unique, transparent green glass color. I mean, it's got its own collector base and everything. So the light frequency isn't just about the visuals. It evokes deep feelings. And I love it how artists can tap into something that's that primal, especially when it's done beautifully. Color can transform perception of the world. Let's look at another artist again. Let's look at Shepard Fairey, because he's been so much more vocal lately about his color choices. He intentionally chose the palette of the red and the cream and the black to provoke, to challenge, to agitate the viewer. Now, as his messages evolved, so did his colors. So now you can see when his messages started changing, and you can see the introduction of blue and how that started to shift in his work. Now, these examples highlight how color can communicate complex ideas without a single word. We've talked about this before in others, but I just have to mention it every time. Like Frida Kahlo kept a journal about how her colors meant a certain emotion to her. We can see that colors are deeply tied to her experiences. Let's talk about Bridget Riley. Gosh, sometimes I forget about her. I love her work. She's using colors and the form in which those colors to really have a dynamic conversation in that sense of op art. So she is creating something that's giving us that illusion, that pop art, like it's coming off the canvas or coming off the page. But, like, what's our takeaway here? Well, if you're an artist, if you're a collector, or you're discovering the joy of art, color has the power. Color has the power to move you. It can transform a room's vibe and influence your mood, your thought, your perceptions. So let's do another thing. So before you go, there's another quick exercise that you can do for yourself, like to see where you are. So this is where you can get 3 colors out, get a dark room, take a deep breath. So get the yellow out. Notice how the yellow lifts you. Get the blue out. What's the blue doing in the room? What's the blue doing to you? Get out a pink color. Anytime we can create these aha moments with art is amazing. So while you're working through that exercise, remember, color is more than just a tool. It's a language. It's color anatomy. It's a mood setter. It's a catalyst for change. And as an artist assistant, I love helping artists harness the power of color, especially when it comes to mixing custom blends through different recipes. My journey into the depths of color has been awesome, and it's definitely a passion of mine. And I love watching artists go through that process. So, as we end here today, keep being creative, and keep exploring your colorful world. And if you want to keep talking about color, tag me on Instagram so we can keep sharing some of our favorite colors that we see as we shift into the fall season. All right, everybody, have a great day and keep colorful.